Peace and Yah bless. Yah is the strong one. The strong one is Yah. He's the tree of life. He's the fountain of living waters. He is the spirit and creator of all things that live and breathe. On this particular discourse, I'm going to talk about the future of sex. Okay? The future of sex. Okay, I got you guys' attention. Good. All right. This will probably be PG-13. All righty. All right. So, the future of sex. Okay, now many people, they go to the book and they look at verses and they kind of misunderstand what maybe a statute is trying to say by maybe how the statute might be worded, okay? You have to go to the concrete examples in this book to understand whether or not sex and marriage are the same thing, even though they are the same thing, okay? Because I've had different, even Hebrew sisters, man, they make videos and stuff and they try to figure out, go through here and find some kind of, a different instance that's happened that they can somehow figure out that, sex and marriage are not the same thing, okay? Sex and marriage are the same thing, okay? It's really just one thing. I don't even know why they call it sex. It's just marriage, okay? You want to get married, then you go have sex. That's the way it should be presented, okay? We in America, they present it as two different factors, okay? They present it that way, because, a lot of different men and different women, they just want to get around, man. Okay? That's why the Holy One of Israel created STDs, or what they call sexually transmitted diseases. All those things were created. Why? Because we don't value the sanctity of sex. Okay? Sex is a very sanctified thing. When you go into your, to your wife, your gentleman, you go in and you have sex with her, it's a very sanctified thing you're doing because your physical bodies are joined together, but your spirits are intertwined. You see what I'm saying? Your spirits are intertwined, okay? Your spirits are at play with each other during your sexual act, okay? And not to mention that, if Yah allows pregnancy to take place, then he allows the spirit that he makes and designs to come from the spirit world, okay, and be able to be manifested in the physical form that we call a baby, okay? So it's a very sanctified process, There's definitely a lot of love of the labor, right? Because, sex is labor, right? Okay? So, sex and marriage are indeed the same thing biblically. Now, here's the key. Whatever you men, whatever you women want to do about sex here in the daughter of Babylon, do that. But when we get home, the Torah law is going to supersede anything else you're thinking about. Okay? The Torah law is if a man wants to, get it on, that female wants to get it on, well, they have to go enter into a sexual union and consider themselves as married. Off the market. Okay? That's the future of sex. That's where sex began at. It was always an act that basically made the two people joined into one union. Okay? All right? The future of sex. Like I said, a lot of you people, y'all don't like hearing this because, you want to be able to get around. You women, you want to sleep with any man you want to. Whenever you want to, however you want to do it. It don't work like that, man. Okay? As you guys see by the adultery law, Deuteronomy 22, right? All right? All right. Well, simple as that. Okay? Because you guys' future of sex is robots, sex dolls, things like that, man. Okay? Now we have virtual sex, right? Okay? But ain't nothing like the real thing, baby. Have you guys ever heard that song? Ain't nothing like the real thing. But anyway, sex dolls and virtual sex, what they call cyber sex, whatever the case is, all that stuff, man, it can't hold nothing to real, hot, heavy, physical sex in the real world, okay? So, the future of sex is that sex is marriage. That's the actual future. Now, whatever they want to do in the door of Babylon, well, they can do. But as we return home and make the Aliyah, the Torah law will be in full strength. Okay, so let's go to the book. Genesis chapter 24. This is the first example and the first time you hear about sex and marriage really being the same thing. Now, for all those who know the book, you know the story of Isaac. Isaac and Rebekah, right? Okay. Now, Isaac sent his servant to go find him a bride. They found Rebekah. What they didn't know is that God, Yah, had already set it up for them to find Rebekah. Okay? All right, yes, God is a matchmaker. For some of y'all who don't know that, okay? Sometimes you meet women for certain reasons. I tell every woman that if you met me, it's for a direct reason. It could be lots of different things, but it's always for a reason, okay? Because many of y'all had never heard of YHWH. You didn't know what it was. Well, that could have been a reason why you ran into me or you heard about me, okay? Nothing in this life is by chance. We think it's all by chance. It's all constructed, man. From the time you come into this earth to the time you die, time you leave here, minute by minute, it's all constructed, okay? As we found out in Proverbs 16, okay? What did Proverbs 16 say, man? You can make your own steps, but the Most High's will is what's going to prevail, okay? His will is going to prevail. So the entire chapter of Genesis 24, you can read it yourself. I'm just going to get down to the crux of the matter to make this a shorter video, okay? Now, if you look right here, after they found Rebekah, okay, because Isaac sent his servant to find him a wife, they found Rebekah, which the Most High had already set up for them to find her, okay? So she agreed to come and be his wife. Now, watch what happens, okay? All right? And the servant told Isaac all things that he had done. And Isaac brought her, talking about Rebekah, into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah. Now, what do you think took means? Had sex with Rebekah. Okay, right on the spot. Okay, he didn't really know Rebekah that well. Okay, but what he did know was they had brought her back for Rebekah to be his wife. So he took her into his mother's tent and banged her. Okay? I hate to put it that way, but that's just the way it is. Had sex with her, however you want to say it. Okay? Now watch what happens after he took Rebekah, after he had sex with Rebekah. Hot, steamy, wet sex. Okay? With Rebekah. What happened? She became his wife. See? What do y'all mean sex and marriage are not the same thing? It tells you right here. In this statute, it's the same thing. They had sex. He took her. And she became his wife. And he loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. Okay? Because, his mother had passed away. Right? But he took Rebekah. He had sex with her. He banged her, man. All right? And she became his wife. I don't really got to go anywhere else in this book. What else y'all want me to say to you? There ain't nothing in here that can supersede this right here. There ain't nothing in here that can supersede verse number 67 of Genesis chapter 24. Nothing can supersede it. Okay? He took Rebekah. And she became his wife. Now, whenever you go to Exodus 22, it's just telling you about the virgin. Okay? Now, I'll get to that in just a second. I'm just showing you, a couple of places in here where you can get an understanding, get some wise counsel from me, right? get some wise counsel. Okay, sorry about my vernacular, but I gotta let you know how it is. I'm gonna talk to y'all like grown adults. I'm not gonna talk to you like no kid. Okay? All right. He banged Rebecca, and she became his wife. Right then and there. That's marriage. See, this sets the standard right here in verse number 67. Sets the standard for sex and marriage. They're the same thing. When he took Rebecca, she became his wife. What about that do you people not understand? You cannot be a righteous society if you do not control sexual behavior. Okay? Now what goes on in America? That's what goes on. That's why it's called what? The daughter of Babylon. Okay, that's why it has that name, the daughter of Babylon. Because in the old Babylon, for those who know biblical history, they did the same things that they do in America today. And all kind of things going on. Okay, all kind of different sins, right? But yeah, he took Rebecca and she became his wife. So sex and marriage, same thing, as we've done told you women and you men 1,000 times. You guys just don't want to be responsible to each other. Okay? You don't want to be responsible to each other when the act is over. Okay? You want to get out of it. Oh, yeah, I just had sex with him. See ya. Bye. Doesn't work like that. Or you do. Oh, man, I just hit it, man. I'm out. No responsibility, right? All right. That's why the world is in the shape it's in today. Because of those things right there, okay? Those sort of attitudes. Okay? It's no different than right here when you see that Jacob, okay, when he came to Laban, his uncle, right, to get him some wives. He's actually hiding from Esau. That's why he ended up, up there. That's where his mother, who actually Rebecca, had sent Jacob, right, up to her brother, which was his uncle, right, sent him to his house, to hide him there, okay, because Esau was heated up, right, after that thing with the birthright, correct? Correct. Okay, let's get to it. Go read this thing. I'm going to shorten the video, okay? Raquel was beautiful and well favored, okay? And Jacob loved Raquel. So like love at first sight, as y'all can see. So don't say no love at first sight. It's right here in this Bible. Okay, you can see somebody, hey, and instantly, hey, those feelings they can catch you if you ain't careful, right? Okay. So Jacob loved Raquel and said, I will serve thee. Now he made an agreement. I will serve thee 7 years for Raquel, thy younger daughter, right? Okay. So Laban made it, an agreement to do that. Okay. So Jacob kept his agreement and worked for Laban for 7 years for Raquel, because that's who he wanted. He didn't want the other sister, which her name was Leah. Okay. All right. Because Raquel was the older sister and Leah was the younger sister, okay? All right. So you see, after a while, what happened? Jacob said unto Laban, man, give me my wife, for my days are fulfilled, that I may go in unto her. You see, he called her his wife. Why did Jacob call Raquel his wife? Okay? Think about that for a second. Why? Because he knew he was going to go in and have sex with her. But Laban was withholding her. Okay? After they had made the agreement of 7 years of work, right? That you see right here. Jacob served 7 years for Raquel. So when it was over, he's like, yo, man, that's my wife now. Okay? Because we made an agreement for her, right? Okay? That he may go in unto her, because he knows it's not official until he goes in and bangs Raquel. Okay? So what happened? Laban tricks him, right? Because Laban wanted to get some more work out of Jacob, so he tricks him. He goes, check it out, verse 25 of Genesis chapter 29, right? And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, what is this that thou hast done unto me? Jacob is pissed off. Like, man, what have you done to me, man? Did I not serve thee for Raquel? Wherefore hast thou beguiled me? See, Laban, his uncle, tricked him. Okay? He brought in Leah. Okay? All right? Then he tried to make an excuse. And Laban said, it must not be done so in our country to give the younger before the firstborn. You see what I'm saying? All right? So in other words, he wanted to make sure he gave, him Leah first and then he would let him have Raquel. But he wanted 7 more years of work because Laban was becoming rich off of Jacob. That's why he tricked him, okay? If you go read the story in Genesis 29 yourself, you will find that out, okay? But so the key is why was he upset? Because he knew now what? Leah was his wife and Raquel wasn't yet, okay? All right? All right, because they had made an agreement way up here. You're like, look, man, I'll work for you 7 years for your daughter. He's like, yeah, okay, cool. Well, they made that agreement, okay? At the end of the 7 years, he was waiting. Okay, man, go ahead. Because he knew it was going to be his wife because he's going to go bang her to, for him to be his wife, right? All right. He served the 7 years. What happened? Nothing. Okay, he's like, man, look, man, give me my wife, man, so I can go in and have sex with her. That's what, go in unto. That's what that means. You can read between the lines, right? So they had this little party, this little feast, you know what I mean? Naturally, Jacob was probably drinking. And it came to pass in the evening that he is Laban. He took Laban, his daughter, and brought her to him, Jacob, right? And he went in unto her. See, he had sex with Leah, but he didn't know it. See, remember, he had this party, getting drunk, see? He got played because he was inebriated. He got played. As you can see, he was at a feast, right? Got drunk, right? Okay? Or whatever happened, tired, something, enough where he did not know that Leah was the one that he had sex with until he got up in the morning. Okay? He got up in the morning. He was angry with Laban. That's why I said, man, what have you done unto me, man? I served you for Rachel, man, Raquel. So why have you beguiled me? Why have you tricked me like this, man? Brought you, this other daughter into me. Then Laban comes up with that excuse, man. Okay? Then he comes up with, hey, man, give me some more service, man. Give me some more service. Whatever work Jacob was doing, you know what I'm saying? He's like, hey, man, keep doing this work because I'm getting rich off of you. So that's why he actually beguiled him. He tricked him. Beguiled means tricked, right? He beguiled Jacob because Jacob was making him rich. So he had already served the 7 years for Raquel. So he went ahead and got slick, right, and brought in Leah. Then he's like, oh, man, serve me 7 more years and I'll give you Raquel, after that. See right here. Thou shalt serve me yet 7 other years. So he wanted to get 7 more years out of him because he's getting rich off Jacob, man. As we told y'all, man, anywhere we are, the children of Israel, you blessed. No matter what job you're doing. But anyway, okay. Anywhere in America, you always going to be blessed. Okay, so let's get to Exodus 22. Let's talk about it real quick. Okay? Exodus chapter 22. Now, what this is trying to tell you, if a man entices a maid, a virgin, who's not betrothed, so she don't belong to nobody, right? Now, the key is she's a virgin now. That's what maid, go look this maid up. Bethula is the Hebrew word. Bethula means what? A virgin. Okay, if a man entice a virgin that is not betrothed and he lies with her, he should surely hey, look, it tells you right here. He should surely endow her to be his wife. It tells you right there. What about that? What about this right here? Can you not understand? Okay, the key word is she's not married to anybody. She's not engaged. Okay, and he lied with her. He has sex with her, right? Then he should surely endow her to be his wife. I mean, simple as that. Now, here's the key. If her father utterly refused, okay? Now, the only way he can refuse her is if she's under his jurisdiction. In other words, she's either underage or she's staying in his house, okay? That's the only way, but you notice, only if he tries to refuse, okay? He shall pay money according to the dowry of the virgin. Because what? Because the key is that she's a virgin, okay? Now, what the father's like, well, look, man, you didn't come to me and tell me that you was going to have sex with my daughter who was a virgin. So the father feels like what? He's damaged. So he wants to be paid damages for it because he felt like, well, you didn't come and tell me. Okay? But naturally, this woman would have to be an underage woman for that to even happen. Because if she's a woman of age, then there ain't nothing the father could do anyway. Okay? If she's a grown woman and staying in her father's house, well, there still wouldn't be nothing he can do because she's a marriageable age. Okay, you got to think about this thing whenever you read this verse right here. Don't just look at it and go, oh, well, the father can refuse, so how is that? So how are they married? Okay? Now, you notice when you go to Deuteronomy, chapter 22, it tells you that father has to give her up. Okay? Because once that man has went into that woman, okay, under Torah law, she is his wife. And in the future, it's going to be his wife. Okay? That's why I said the future of sex, right? In the future, when we get home, okay, it's gonna be that man's wife. Okay? Now if he didn't ask the father, you know, which he probably should get permission, especially if she's living in the father's house. So see, the father can only refuse or what's called first right of refusal only if she's under his jurisdiction. If she living on her own, it ain't nothing he can do about it. If she a grown woman, it ain't nothing, you know, he can do about it or say about it. It's only if she's under the father's direction and jurisdiction, living in his house, you know, underage or something, okay? Think about these things. Now, okay, if a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, okay, this is just reiterating here in Deuteronomy 22, it's just reiterating the same thing. Okay? The same thing that's over there in Exodus 22, right? So he finds and he lie with her, and they be found. Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's fathers 50 shekels of silver. Now check it out. This is the same statute. It's just declaring what's supposed to happen. And she shall be his wife. Why? Because he humbled her. He had sex with her. Okay? He may not put her away all his days. Now see that this adds on to that statute, saying what? If she's a virgin, she cannot be put away. So once he slide up in there, he do it to her, have sex with her, right? And if she's a virgin, okay, or what they call popping her cherry, whatever you want to call that, if he pops her, okay, her first time, and guess what? She may not be put away all her days, man. Okay? The father can't, you see right here, the only thing the father can do is get damages for it. That's it, man. Because this man didn't ask, you know. He just laid hold on to her, you know. He enticed her. Okay? He enticed her to have sex with him, and she, you know, agreed to do so. You know? Because guess what? This man right here, back in these days, he would have known that. He'd be like, well, if I know if I lay with this woman, you know, that's going to be my wife, right? He's going to know that, right? He's going to know that, right? Okay? But if he went around the father, let's say he had met her father yet, or whatever the case is, right? Like I said, if she's under her father's jurisdiction, under his care, then the father can speak on it, the same as he can speak on a vow, right? Okay? But once she's a grown woman of marriageable age, really ain't nothing the father can do. Okay? But what the statute's telling you to do, if you did it in a malicious fashion, then you need to pay the father 50 shekels of silver because you did it in a malicious fashion. But you see right here, and she's still going to be his wife. Why? Because he humbled her. Okay? So over there in Exodus 22, it needs some more clarity about what happens. Okay? He humbles the woman. That's his wife. Ain't nothing the father can do about it. What are you going to do? Other than get them 50 shekels of silver, he can get that. But that's all he can get. That's all he can get. He can't get anything else, okay? Because once that man enticed her, you know what I mean? Like it says, you know what I mean? That's why I went over in the last video. If he entices the woman, okay? All right. If he entices the woman, keyword entices her. Okay, but this is in the word made, like I say in the Hebrew. Go look it up in the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance of the Bible. You can Google this word "made" right here. It means Bethula. That means a virgin. Or if you go to like the NIV or different versions of the Bible, you'll see it says, if a man entice, it just says a virgin. It doesn't say a maid. See, this word maid is old Quaker English from back in the day. They called it a maid. A virgin was called a maid, okay? So that's what that means right there, okay? If a man entices a virgin that is not betrothed and lie with her, he should surely endow her to be his wife, okay? You've seen over in Deuteronomy 22, it tells, Deuteronomy 22 actually declares what's happening right here. It don't matter about that father refusing him. Okay? The father is compensated by getting the dowry of the virgins, okay? In case that whole thing went wrong. Okay? That's his compensation. But it's still the man's wife. All right? Now, I hope you guys got some clarity. But in the future, we got to be definitely more cognizant of sex, and we got to do better as far as the laws, statutes, and commands on how to handle sex, okay, in the future. All right? When you people get home, you guys are going to have some discipline, man. Okay? You can't have men going in, sleeping with people's wives or any of that. Because if they do, we're going to kill them, as I told you. And that's according to Bible, protocol, and standard. Nothing y'all can do about it. And we're not going to care about you being our friend or a family member or whoever it might be. If you break this law and it's the cause of death you going to receive. Believe that. Believe it. Okay? All right? That's the future of sex, okay? Not necessarily cyber sex and robotics, okay? Cyber sex and robotics. That's the future of sex in the daughter of Babylon. Okay? What they call touchless sex, right? Okay? Because that's kind of where they're going with the biometrics and all that. Everything being touchless, right? So that's where they're going with that, okay? But anyway, as far as what we do in Israel in the future, it's going to be all about physical sex, okay? But within that physical sex, once you lay down with that man, okay, you women, and you men, once you lay down with them women, remember, you're going to enter her vagina under the contract of you all being what? A couple, okay? You all being married, okay? Now, you can still hold a ceremony, have a wedding, and do all that, but guess what? You're still joined. The minute you go in that vagina, boy, that's all yours. Enjoy. That's all I'm going to say. When they try to come complain to me about it, as I govern over you, you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say, enjoy yourself, brother. That's your wife. And if she's a virgin and you pop her, you pop her, okay, you bang her as a virgin, I'm going to say, whoo, boy, enjoy her for the rest of your life. Enjoy. Okay? That's what I'm going to say. Because that's the statute of this book, man. Okay? Just because his father utterly refused doesn't mean it's not his wife. Once he went into her, it is his wife. That's why it tells you the statute what? That the father is compensated for the damages done. Okay? Because she was in his household. That's why it even brings up the father. You see, you got to put the scenario and think about it 360, okay? You can't think about it just from one perspective. Think about, if it's a female, think about yourself being in your father's household. Here comes some man and, hey, he talks you into sex. Your daddy find out you underage, he going to be mad, okay? But the father can't come in and supersede the man that you had sex with. You had sex with him. You agreed, okay? Once you go in front of the Holy One of Israel and you do that act, man, the Most High considers you married, man. Okay? And all that Torah law is going to be alive and well, man. Can't wait till we get home to do these most wonderful things. Okay? That's the future of sex, all right? That's why I got this picture of, okay? It's not to be risque, okay? It's not to be risque. And there's a lot of sex in the Bible. So, you hear me talk about sex a lot. Yeah, man. A lot of sex in the Bible, man. Adultery and everything else, man. Okay? There are a lot of sexual statutes in the Bible, what we call the Torah, on what to do, what not to do. So we ain't got to be afraid to talk about sex, man. All right? All right, that's that, man. Thank you all for listening. I hope I gave you guys some clarity. Okay? Because the father can't come back and take away that man's wife, because she's become his wife. Okay? As you've seen in those earlier verses dealing with Jacob and dealing with Isaac. You guys didn't see no marriage ceremony take place, did you? No. All right then. In that verse number 67 over there in Genesis 29, I believe. Okay? You guys saw that. As soon as Isaac banged Rebekah, what did it say? She became his wife. And that's the only verse you have to read. Okay? Thank you all for listening. Hope I've illuminated you. Peace. And y'all bless.